Good morning, and this is the third successive day that we are bringing you daily law news. We are encouraged by the response that you send us, and that makes us motivated to make this a better show. Today, we have chosen another pain area that India deals with, and that many of you will identify, and I will tell you what it is all in the next few minutes. I have chosen a news article which says FIR against teacher who yanked off kids' hair. So a teacher somewhere in Mumbai is being proceeded against because she apparently pulled off a child's hair. The child is 6 years old. The teacher was supposedly trying to collect fees which was not paid, and something happened, and what we now know is that the child's entire hair was pulled out of her very head. This is a news coverage, it's a news report. I don't know whether this is true or to what extent it is true. I am here to pick up these news items and present them to you and have an opportunity to make you understand within which ambit of law this particular incident is covered. I do this because most of you face such incidents in life, or most of you will know somebody who will face such incidents in life, and I take this opportunity to simplify Indian laws by telling you what this is all about and what the law is all about. A teacher assaulting a child. It is again one of those tragedies of modern times, again something that India deals with on a daily basis. In English there is a saying, spare the rod, spoil the child. This was the guiding force for many schools and many teachers in many countries in the years that have gone by. But modern education thinking says that you cannot assault a child. You cannot educate a child by imposing and inflicting what is called corporal punishment. Corporal punishment is using a cane, which is very commonplace in India, using a scale to beat the child on the palms or on the knuckles. Any form of physical assault on the child is corporal punishment, and in very many countries of the world, it is a crime for a teacher to beat up a child. In India, there are instances of police registering a complaint against such erring teachers, but my research, which is conducted by Divya Banda and which I hope is accurate, tells me that there is no special act which governs a teacher assaulting a child. So I wonder under what provisions does the police officer register this particular complaint. The Indian Penal Code deals with it. The Indian Penal Code, which is a general law applicable to everybody, deals with somebody beating somebody, somebody hurting somebody. But this is a different kind of a beating. This is a beating where a child under the care of a teacher is being assaulted. I'm going to read something from here and then I'll proceed. This is a criminal act and police action is a must on management. So there is somebody who is given a sound bite. He says that this is a criminal act. As a lawyer, I am struggling to understand which exact provision will be used by a police officer to bring this erring teacher to the books. If it is going to be the Indian Penal Code, which has a few sections, then it is my opinion that it is not good enough. There must be a completely different set of laws which brings teachers and students under that particular law, and teachers must be clearly aware, must be educated as to what is possible, what is allowed and what is not. Touching the person of another child to inflict punishment, I think, is not done anymore in modern mankind. This is the problem. This is the law. Now we will understand why this happens. There are few reasons why this should have happened. Number one, most important, are teachers becoming teachers because they want to teach? In other words, are these people, is this particular lady who, it is alleged, literally pulled out the hair of a child, is this lady one of those who really wanted to be a teacher? I don't think so. I think this lady took up this job because it is convenient for her, not because she wanted to be a teacher. You cannot want to be a teacher and also pull off your child's hair and scar the child forever. In India, I think schools are grappling with shortage of good teachers because nobody wants to be a teacher anymore. When you can be a lawyer, when you can be a doctor and earn so much money, why should anybody be a teacher? That is the common understanding. Therefore, the vacancies of teachers are filled mostly by people who take it as a job that they need to take because there's nothing else available or it is most convenient. For many ladies, it is an opportunity to go to school and come back home before the husband gets home. This is the wrong reason to be a teacher. You have to be a teacher because you want to teach. Incidents like this are akin to a gardener savaging his own garden, to a veterinary doctor savaging his own pet animals under his care. This is really, really sad. There is an act which is called the Protection of Children Against Sexual Offences Act, which is in force now. I am told that around the country, especially in Bombay, there are complaints which are registered under this particular act. But it is my opinion that this act is not applicable for such situations where no sexual assault takes place. It is a clear physical assault. Therefore, if you are a parent of a child and if your child approaches you with an injury mark or with a complaint that the teacher has inflicted punishment which is physical in nature, you have to go to the police station. And if the police officer asks you under what provisions, as of now you have to tell him use the general criminal provisions under Indian Penal Code, do what you have to, but register a complaint. And as usual, this is a message going out to whoever is in authority to consider again bringing in a new law which strictly governs the relationship between schools, teachers and students. Having said that, this is also a good opportunity for me to let you know that rearing and raising a child is not the teacher's job alone. It is a joint venture. It is a joint venture between the teacher and the school on one side and the parent and the family on the other side. These are times when I see the child getting away with a lot of things that otherwise he or she should not have got away with. So in the house, the child comes from an atmosphere where everything is allowed, everything is okay. He can break the TV, he can damage the sofas. I notice that the children are given liberty to do the same in other people's homes as well. I notice that the parents are sometimes very proud of it, or at least they are indulgent. And then this child goes to the school where a teacher is not dealing with 7 or 8 kids, or not with this particular kid as a parent. Teacher is dealing with 100 children. The student to teacher ratio in India, I don't have figures for this, but I can tell you from knowledge, it is very common for one teacher to handle 80 and 100 students. Whereas in most of the Western democracies, most of the advanced countries, this ratio may be, I think, around 1:10. I may be wrong, but the ratio is so less that a teacher is able to understand the child very much better. In India, due to its population, lack of resources, lack of planning, a single teacher handles 100 students in one class. Put all of this together and it's a recipe for tragedy. I will conclude by saying that probably the system needs a revamp, as in many cases that I will present here in the future, and by telling you your rights. A child cannot be touched by a school teacher. If that happens, go to the nearest police officer, ask him to register an FIR and use the Indian Penal Code and whatever else he needs to use. There is nothing else that can be done at this point in time, but this must be good enough. I remember my father writing a speech for me when I was a young student on Teachers' Day. My father's opinion and my opinion too now is that a teacher who takes up teaching because it is a convenience, a teacher who takes up teaching because she's bored at home, a teacher who takes up teaching for any reason other than wanting to be a great teacher is not a teacher but a butcher. You are murdering students, you are killing their aspirations, and you are allowing a tragedy to unfold years down the line. So if there are teachers watching this, or if you have teachers known to you, it is time to urge them to be great teachers. It is time to urge them to deal with problems of student-teacher ratio, which is 1:100, which is very high, resources are missing, pay is less, Despite all of this, a teacher has to be a great teacher. You cannot come up with excuses that I'm not paid well or I have too many children to handle. That's how it is. We are a growing country. We need to handle challenges, and we need people who will take these challenges and surmount them. Thank you for watching this. I hope to bring another interesting news to you tomorrow. I hope to bring you knowledge which will empower you and enable you to understand and use laws in your life better. Thank you.